Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. So recently with the release of update number 3, DICE also implemented this new Portal playlist called Battlefield 2042 Rush, which does exactly what it says on the tin. It's Rush, only on the Battlefield 2042 maps. And I've got to say, this has been the best experience I've had so far with the game, especially playing as infantry. So I think there are definitely some pointers here that DICE can really take away from this, and I wanted to use this video to just run through some of the stuff we've lost in Battlefield and how this game mode feels like it's bringing that back a little bit. So first of all, it's a much smaller game size, 16 versus 16, and you have very few vehicles as well, usually a couple of jeeps and an MAV for transport, or sometimes on very rare occasions a single tank. So if you hate all the vehicle spam, then you're going to love this mode. This really just brings home a lot of what we've been missing from that well-known Battlefield cocktail, that classic formula that the franchise has become known for over the years, and that's felt missing, to me at least, in Battlefield 2042. So the first thing here is simply having a smaller player size. Not only does it greatly improve performance, but going up against 16 players is just a number that your brain can more easily handle. You know, say you assault an MCOM station and you kill 5 guys, right? You sort of think, okay, you know, that means there's 11 of them left, and they're likely strewn out around the map, so perhaps we should make a push for the bomb plant. Likewise, you don't have to think about as many angles or as many lines of sight around the map, simply because there are fewer players and fewer vehicles flying overhead too. In the base game with 128 players, it has to be said, the amount of angles you have to worry about dying from is just absurd. You can never, ever be safe. You'll shoot at somebody and then duck behind cover only to find out there's like 5 snipers on a hill in the distance going for you, and then 2 helis flying overhead and a bunch of Mackays on a building above you. You know, I die almost as soon as I fire my weapon because it just draws so much attention. You know, before Battlefield 2042 was announced, and before the leaks began even, I actually made a speculation video on whether DICE would be increasing the player size or not for the new upcoming Battlefield game, and whether or not that would actually be a wise move. And I can honestly say, after going back to something a little bit smaller, I think 128 players was a mistake. I really do, and I think DICE know it too. So the second thing here is diverse map sizes and vehicle spawns. As you guys know, in 2042 Conquest and Breakthrough, you've got every single vehicle available to you on every single map, and normally, as a heavy vehicle user, that would please me. But even I find myself missing those smaller scaled down infantry only experiences like Operation Locker, or even more so the in-betweeners, you know, maps like Propaganda from Battlefield 4 that had a single tank on each team, or Flood Zone that had a scout heli and LAVs but no attack heli or jets. On those maps, you know, the tank on Propaganda or the scout heli on Flood Zone kind of became like the big daddy of the map and the most powerful vehicle on the playing field. It just sort of changed things up in a fun way for me. The same thing actually happens in Battlefield 2042 Rush with the jeeps. In Conquest, they're, you know, mainly used as transport, and other than that, they're basically cannon fodder for an enemy helicopter. But with the absence of anything more powerful, your only real worry are the enemy M5 launchers, and that turns the jeep all of a sudden into a much more powerful asset. Now, there is one massive problem with Rush though, and that's the fact that since everybody can now equip a launcher, the vehicles are actually really underpowered for it. So the MAV is designed to sort of lay siege to an enemy objective and act as a spawn point for your squad, but all the defending team have to do is respawn with an M5 launcher and goodbye Mr. MAV. With the old class system, you'd have most people playing assault or medic on these types of maps, right? So they could have a medkit, defibs and an assault rifle. You had to sacrifice all of those things to go engineer and use an RPG. Now everybody can just run around with an assault rifle, healing each other as Maria Falk, and still carry an RPG, which essentially makes the vehicle throwaway. We all knew these universal gadgets would cause problems, and nowhere is it quite so visible as in Rush. Now, I do think that DICE have started to take notice, and perhaps they've realised that they may have bitten off more than they could chew with the whole 128 players thing. So they've recently stated that they will be making these 64 player map variants that were originally designed for last gen consoles to now be available to everybody. So if you're somebody that gets terrible performance, maybe these smaller size modes will help you out. And you just might find everybody else joining you there as well, simply because they prefer the smaller player size. I also really hope they keep this Rush mode. Right now it looks to be a temporary portal mode, but if it goes away, that's honestly going to be a major bummer. As always guys, let me know what you think down in the comments, or if you want to have a chit chat with me live, you can always catch me over on my Twitch channel. Take care boys, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.